Good evening. Welcome to Pawtucket City Council and Board of License Commissioners meetings tonight for July 9th, 2025. We have nobody signed up in person for public input, but we did receive a total of 6 communications offered as written public input. The first is from Greg Garrett, from the Friends of the Mashashik. He lives in Providence. The next 2 from Cameron Sagala, a resident of Pawtucket. The 4th from Adam Greenman, a resident of Pawtucket. And the 5th from Janine Silversmith, the executive director of the Rhode Island Environmental Education Association. So they have been filed. Actually, and the 6th is from individual named Mattie, Mattie Whedon, regarding Harmony Dog Kennel. So with that, we will move right on to the Board of License Commissioners. Call the meeting to order. The clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Here.
Councilor Russo.
Here.
Councilor Coder.
Here.
Councilor Gregor. Councilor Moran.
Here.
Councilor Moreno. Here. Councilor Rubio. Councilor Stokoviak. Councilor Wildenhain.
Here.
7 in attendance.
Mr. President, on item number 1, I call for approval of the previous minutes from June 25th, 2025.
Moved by Councilor Russo, second by Councilor Wildenhain. That we give approval to the previous minutes from the June 25th meeting as prepared by the clerk. Are there any concerns, amendments, deletions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 2, consent agenda, and item number 3, petitions for licenses. I call for approval starting with door-to-door employee new Trinity Solar, all the way to the second page, waste hauler new Elite Truck and Equipment LLC.
Moved by Councilor Russo, second by Councilor Moreno, that we give approval to items 2 and 3 to consent agenda and petitions for license. The petitions for license start with a door-to-door employee new for Trinity Solar. Continue down through the first third of page 2 with a waste hauler new Elite Truck and Equipment LLC. Any discussion on items 2 and 3? In that case, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Just 1 second, Counselor. If you are here from Trinity Solar, Darlington Market, Laundromax, Pawtucket House of Pizzas, Good Samaritans, Rhode Island, Darlington Mart, Cafe Amore, and Waste Haulers Brothers Disposal, Waste Management, and Elite Truck and Equipment, they've all been approved. You are all set.
Okay.
Counselor, item 4.
Item 4, as advertised for public hearing, Class B victual and new Cafe Bistro, Frank Mundo LLC, 3 Exchange Street, license number LQB 25-5. My motion is to convene the public hearing.
Second.
The move by Councilor Russo, second by Councilor Codia, that we convene a public hearing regarding a Class B victual and new request for Cafe Bistro, Frank Mundo LLC, 3 Exchange Street. It would be license number LQB-25-5. I declare the public hearing open. Is the applicant from Cafe Bistro here? Sir, if you could come forward, give your name and address to the clerk, please. Home address, that is.
Sam Shore, 22 Montgomery Street. I have a few
SHORR.
SHORR, correct. Can I
And-
hand out a couple things? I don't have something for everyone.
Thank you.
Pass it around.
Thank you.
Mhm.
You seen that?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Then these are just some documents that show the restaurant if you browse through it. But I can set that in follow up with Ron.
Okay. Thank you. This is an application for a Class B victual and new at 3 Exchange Street. That happens to be, as you already know, Councilor Codier's district. So I'm going to turn this matter over to her to ask you a few questions.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nice to see you again, Mr. Shore. I know that we've already met in person about the bistro, and you already told me everything that you will be offering, but I would like you to say if so my colleagues can hear you, everything that is going to be the food, how many people, the bar, you also told me that it's gonna be basically like a meeting place and all that. Can you please tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so I live and work in downtown Pawtucket. My day job, I manufacture animation machines. We work with the schools and libraries very closely. In the Pawtucket Public Library, the Pawtucket Public Schools. So I do that during the day. I had a restaurant in Los Angeles called Maze. It was very successful, 500 square foot restaurant in Silver Lake area. And I really wanted to, when I moved back east, I wanted to open something. Wasn't the right time until now. And this 3 Exchange Street, wonderful building, old trapezoidal building, 1890s. There's been a bar there for, I think, since the beginning of the building has always been the News Cafe or some iteration. And yeah, I want to do a bistro. I want to do something that's a little bit more upscale, but something that is still very accessible to the community, very understanding of the community where I am, but also something that can attract other people. So the restaurants can be very simple, a lot of grilled food, grilled meat, grilled vegetables, salad. It's going to have a full bar, 9 seats at the bar. About 40 people can sit in the restaurant. It's only about 1,000 square feet, so it's pretty small and intimate. But yeah, we just want to serve up, I don't know if you guys have been to the restaurant Al Forno in Providence, but that type of food where it's just simple and classic. You can go with your family, you could go on a date, and you could go sit at the bar by yourself. And I think that's something we want to bring. I think Pawtucket is a wonderful place. It served me very well, and I hope to make a place that serves it back.
Is it gonna be the part of the building that was presently the News Cafe or the front?
No, it's going to be next to the News and Mama Africa. So it's in between. It's actually an unoccupied space. I don't know
Okay.
the last time it was occupied. It was a shoe shine.
And it's facing Summer Street, though? That part of it, the building is on 3 Exchange, but it's facing Summer, is that right?
Yes.
Yes, there's 3 entrances. There's the Summer Street and Exchange Street
Yep.
side. But we'll be using the Exchange. Yeah, both of those entrances. You can see in the plan as well, though, how we're going to be using it for entering. Yeah.
Okay. Counselor?
Yeah, Mr. Mundo, I just want to say, impressive.
Hey,
I don't think
well,
I've seen one
just
of these-
paper so far. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I love that building. So I'm really glad to see it's being preserved and something positive is gonna come for that.
Thank
So
you so
maybe you
much.
can take over the second floor as well.
I think they'd like me to buy the whole thing. I said,
Yeah.
let's do one thing at a time, one thing at a time. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
It is an iconic building.
yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So I don't know what to say. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hours of operation, what do you expect to be 7 days a week or?
I'm working towards 7 days a week, but to start, I'll be 4 or 5 days a week, 5 to 11 p.m. I want to start as a full service restaurant to really set the tone that this is a place you come a little bit more upscale, but it's called Cafe Bistro. It will be open during the morning as well eventually. But I just want to be reasonable about how I operate in the beginning and make sure that we're full. I don't want to be open 7 days and 3 days. I'm struggling to pay my
Sure.
staff. So
Makes sense.
I know that we talked about this, so we are just to make emphasize on it about if you're gonna have music, how is it going to be? And the reason I'm asking you this is because there is well, everywhere in Pawtucket is residential.
absolutely.
So can you
Well, I'll say this, we're building a reinforced wall to actually keep the music down from the News Cafe. So if anything, we're trying to make a little bit quieter
Gotcha.
space. Yeah. So nothing louder than the news. We're not going to have live music. We will have probably a sound system inside, but probably playing more like jazz and things like that. I want to, I like restaurants actually that don't have any music and you just hear the audience, but we'll probably have something, but it'll be quiet and yeah, certainly not nothing too loud.
anybody else has
Any other questions for the applicant?
Welcome.
Okay, Mr. Shore, you can have a seat for the moment. We may have to call you back up. I doubt it, but
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
is there anybody else here? This is a public hearing. Is there anybody else here to speak on this matter of this application? Anybody online, Dante?
If anybody is waiting online to speak in this public hearing, can you please press the raise hand now button at this time? And I see no hands raised.
Okay, in that case, I will declare the public hearing closed and entertain a motion. Counselor?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to make a motion to approve Cafe Bistro request of a Class B license and at 3 Exchange Street.
Been moved by Councilor Codier, seconded by both Councilor Moreno and Councilor Gregor, that approval be given to the application of Cafe Bistro Frank Mundo LLC, 3 Exchange Street, license number LQB 25 5. Is there any discussion on the motion to approve? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Item number 5, petition for license victualling house first class new Cafe Bistro Frank Mundo LLC, 3 Exchange Street, license number LQB 25-5. Motion to approve.
Been moved by Councilor
Second.
Ruja, second by Councilor Codier, that approval be given to a petition for a for a victualling house first class new of Cafe Bistro, Frank Mundo LLC, 3 Exchange Street, license number LQB 25-5. Any discussion on the motion to approve the victualling house? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Item number 6, the following public hearing was continued at the meeting held on June 25th, 2025, and is again taken up. Class B victualler new, the Ember Hookah Lounge Incorporated, 590 Newport Avenue, license number LQB 25-4 ENT. My motion is to reconvene this public hearing.
Been moved by Councilor Aruja, second by Councilor Wildenhain, that we reconvene a public hearing that was continued on June 25th and again is taken up. It's a Class B victualler new request, the Ember Hookah Lounge, Inc., 590 Newport Avenue, license number LQB 25-4. I will reopen the public hearing, and I know the applicant is here. Sir, if you could come forward. Dante, before we get started, is there anybody online for this?
People that are online.
Okay, so, first, could you please just give your name again, first and last name and address, please?
Faris Topshi, FARESTABCHI, 31 Ledgewood Road, Framingham, Mass.
Ferris Topshi, 31
Ledgewood.
Ledgewood Road, Framingham, Massachusetts.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Welcome back.
Thank you.
As you know, this is my district and we've spoken a couple different times now. I apologize. We had to have you back, but we just had to, kind of make sure we had, all of our ducks in a row. So,
Absolutely.
just to let my colleagues know that, I did speak with the owner of the hairstylist, the hair salon next door, which is the same building, but actually a different piece of property. She may or may not be on. We'll talk with her again. Now, I understand what her concerns are, and I explained to the applicant, their concerns mostly revolve around parking. This parcel has always been a convenience store or a pizza place where somebody was coming in and out, and there was not too much need for parking for that establishment. This is going to be a entirely different ball game. That their concern is that there may be parking for their patrons taken up, and quite frankly, vice versa. So I met with the applicant and we looked over the area of the parking lot that belongs to his parcel of the property, and it appears to be big enough to hold 6, if not 8 or 9 parking spaces. The square footage requires him to have at least 6. That should not be a problem. We discussed him painting the lines a little bit different to distinguish. We kind of settled on yellow, but I think, as long as you can distinguish,
Yeah,
and their customers can distinguish. We also talked about, I explained that we all collectively have PTSD from some of the applicants over the last handful of years, and his intent is to run a cultural hookah bar, primarily good coffees, but also
absolutely.
with this liquor license, primarily beer and wine, and perhaps something else in the coffee, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we discussed hours of operation as well. He's perfectly fine with weekdays closing at 10 o'clock, weekends at 11 o'clock, and I gave my commitment that if everything goes well and he thinks he'd like to stay open later, we can certainly discuss that discuss that down the road. And then the only other thing was, entertainment. You don't intend to have amplified music.
No, no, no,
and
no.
Other than ambient stereo music, right?
Exactly.
And perhaps an acoustic.
Probably
Okay,
down the
so
line.
no need to limit you to no live entertainment. If it's acoustic, I don't think the neighbors will have a problem. And if they don't have a problem, I won't have a problem. So, did I pretty much accurately explain
Perfect.
what we,
Yes, sir.
what we were
E-
pretty much agreed to?
Everything. Yep.
Okay. Anything you'd like to add?
Oh, no, I just want to make a nice place for Pawtucket and, you know, I promise it's going to be a nice spot.
Anybody have any questions for the applicant? Okay, sir. Have a seat just in case we have to call you back up. Is there
Thank you.
anybody online who is here for that reason?
If you can press the raise hand button at this time, if you're here to speak on this public hearing, if you're watching via Zoom. To which I see no hands this time.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to declare this public hearing closed now, and I will entertain a motion to approve with the following stipulations. That the closing hours be 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and 11 p.m. Friday and Saturday. That there be no amplified music other than ambient music or amplified sound other than ambient music. Acoustic only live entertainment, and the parking spots, after consultation with planning, the parking spots will be painted a color sufficient to distinguish from the parking spots for the other establishments in that plaza. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
It's been moved by Councilor
Second.
Ruzo, second by Councilor Moran, that that approval be given to the application for the Ember Hookah Lounge, Inc., 590 Newport Avenue, license number LQB-25-4, with the stipulations as articulated. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number
One more thing for you, sir.
Item number 5, petition for license, victualling house, first class new, Cafe Bistro Frank Mundo LLC, 3 Exchange Street. License number LQB 25-5, with the same stipulations, correct?
Yes.
All right, with the
Yes.
same stipulation, motion to approve.
I'm sorry.
Do you need me to read
Nope.
the?
Nope. You got that, right, Rick?
Yeah, you don't
Okay.
need to put the stipulations
On the
on.
victualling house?
Oh, you don't?
Just-
Okay. I
Just
just
on,
didn't know.
just on the class, just on the class B?
Yeah, that'll
Okay.
cover the whole thing.
Oh, wait, you know what? I'm sorry. I read the wrong thing, didn't I? I did. Yeah, I did read the wrong thing. My apologies.
All right, let's redo 7.
Right, redo 7. Sorry, my apologies. I jumped.
Take 2.
Yeah, thank you. The following petition for license was postponed at the meeting and held June 25th, 2025, and is again taken up. Victualling House, first class new, the Ember Hookah Lounge Incorporated, 590 Newport Avenue, license number LQB-24-4. Motion is to approve with
Second.
It's been moved by Councilor Ruzo, second by Councilor Codere and Councilor Moreno, that the following petition that was postponed at the meeting held June 25th and is again taken up. It's a victualling house first class new request for Ember Hookah Lounge, Inc., 590 Newport Avenue, license number LQB-25-4. The motion is to approve. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now you're all set, sir. Good luck.
Thank you. All right, item number 8, petition for license, entertainment and expansion on premises 2 days. Petition of Community Center Grupo Amigos de Tesara, for a license to have a Sao Vicente de Paulo festival and a 2-day expansion of their Class D liquor license to have music, serve food and alcoholic beverages outdoors at 55 Memorial Drive on Friday, September 5th, 2025, from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturday, September 6th, 2025, from 2 p.m. until 11 p.m. License number EBT-25-47. Motion to take up? Approve. Motion to approve?
Moved by Councilor Ruzo, second by Councilor Moreno, that approval be given to a petition of the Community Center Grupo de Amigos de Tercera for a license to have a Sao Vicente de Paulo feast and a 2-day expansion of their Class D liquor license to have music, serve food, and alcoholic beverages at 55 Memorial Drive on Friday, September 5th, 2025, from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m., and Saturday, September 6th, 2025, from 2 p.m. until 11 p.m. It's license number EBT-25-47. The motion is to approve. Is there any discussion? I'll just say that this is in my district. It's been going on for longer than I've held the seat. And I have no issues with the approval. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Item number 9, petition for licenses. A, entertainment and expansion of premise 1 day. Petition of Cafe Ordway, Neptune Incorporated, for a license to have a John Sage Band and 1-day expansion of their Class BV liquor license to have music, serve food, and alcohol beverages outdoors at 1 Ordway Street on Saturday, July 19th, 2025, from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. License number EBT 25-49. B, entertainment and expansion of premise 1 day. Petitions of Cafe Ordway, Neptune Incorporated, for a license to have a rock and blues band and 1-day expansion of their Class BV liquor license to have music, serve food, and alcohol beverages outdoors at 1 Ordway Street on Friday, July 25th, 2025, from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. License number EBT-25-50. And C, entertainment and expansion of premise 1 day. Petition of Cafe Ordway, Neptune Incorporated, for a license to have a zero gravity duo band and 1-day expansion of the Class BV liquor license to have music, serve food, and alcohol beverages outdoors at 1 Ordway Street on Friday, August 8th, 2025, from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. License number EBT-25-51. Motion is to take up these 3 licenses.
Second.
Been moved, and Council, you have no problem taking up all 3 at once?
That's fine, yeah.
Okay, it's been moved by Council Ruzo, second by Council Moran, that we take up 3 petitions for license from the Cafe Ordway Neptune Inc. The first is for a license to have a John Sage Band and a 1-day expansion of their Class B liquor license to have music, serve food, and alcoholic beverages outdoors at 1 Ordway Street on Saturday, July 19th, from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. That would be license number EBT-25-49. The second petition of Cafe Ordway is a license to have a rock, a blues band, and a 1-day expansion of a Class BV liquor license to have music, serve food, and alcoholic beverages outdoors at 1 Ordway Street on Friday, July 25th, from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. That's license number EBT-25-50. And again, a petition of Cafe Ordway Neptune Inc. for a license to have a zero gravity duo band and a 1-day expansion of the Class BV liquor license to have music, serve food, and alcoholic beverages outdoors at 1 Ordway Street on Friday, August 8th, 2025, from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. That would be license number EBT-25-51. The motion is to take up all 3 petitions at once. These are in Council Moran's district. Councilor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tom, I think you're here, right?
Yes.
If you just want to come up to the podium, just ask a couple questions, that's all.
Sir, if you could just give your name and address to the clerk, please.
Yes, sir. So my name is Thomas Riley, Riley. Address is 49 Marlane Drive, Marlaine, Marlane Drive in Seekonk, 02771. My wife and I are the sole members of Neptune LLC, and we own Cafe Ordway.
Tom, you already did this, right? I think in May, right? You had something similar?
Yes, sir. We had just one event.
Okay. And what time was that again for that? I'm trying to remember back then.
I think that was
5:30 to 9?
that was
Okay.
5:39.
Yeah, and I didn't have any issues. There were no complaints at that point in time for that particular event. And I know we spoke the other day on this, Tom. You had mentioned that certainly there'd be any alcohol certainly served outside would be in plastic cups, correct?
Well, what we had in the event in May,
Okay.
we actually had a cash register outside,
Okay.
and so people could buy alcohol outside, and that's not the norm. So that was a much larger event.
Okay.
This is really so we have the option of having the band outside, weather permitting. So it's any alcohol would be purchased inside. And if they brought it outside, it would be in, of course, plastic cups.
Okay, and then we talked about you'd have everything cleaned up for the next day, but from what you told me, you're not expecting a huge type of crowd for these things, right?
No, we've owned this place for 7 years, and we're still trying to get a big crowd.
Okay.
I don't expect much of a crowd.
All right. And the only issue, and again, it's not even an issue, just a discussion would be, it's live music, 5 to 9. I have no problem with the hours.
Yes.
It's only getting dark around that time or just before that time. So, just want to make sure that whatever sound system's out there, I mean, you're going to hear the music. Just, again, there are residential, certainly houses around that area and tenements. So you just want to make sure that the noise isn't too loud. And as you said, it's going to end at 9 o'clock anyway, correct?
Yeah, and in the bands we have had outside, they have asked us, is this too loud? And so they are aware that they need to be respectful of their neighbors.
Okay. And you'll be present, or some who will be present there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't have any other questions. I don't know if anybody else does.
Anybody else on the board have any questions for the applicant? In that case, is there anybody else? This is not a public hearing, so nobody else for the applicant? Okay, you can have a seat, Mr. Riley.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
I'll entertain a motion. Up,
Sure.
Counselor?
They are allowed to cook outside and serve food with this license, correct?
Yeah, I mean, they're allowed to serve outside and.
So, but they're allowed, it says here to serve food and
And
alcohol
alcohol.
beverages outdoors. So if they have a grill outside, they're eligible to cook on a
Sure.
grill outside, hamburgers and hot dogs.
Sure. That is correct. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
And is that the plan, Mr. Riley? To grill or?
It is now.
It is now.
Well, it's an option if
Yes.
you wanted to. I know you,
Swinging by?
you certainly have the option.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, we like to have the options. Like this is an option if it's raining outside, then we're gonna have the bands indoors.
Right.
But if it's nice out, we'd like to be able to have them outdoors. We have an extensive patio that we spent a lot of money on last year, and for the express purpose of doing things outside. So now I know that the steps I have to take to make that legal to do. Well, I think I may not have understood all the ramifications in the past, so now we're trying to do this the right way.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? In that case, Council Moran,
I make a motion to approve.
all three.
All three.
So moved by Council Ruja, second, Council Moran, second by Council Ruja and Council Codere, that approval be given to both A, B, and C, the three petitions of Neptune Inc. for one-day expansion of premise to have music, serve alcohol, food and alcoholic beverages at 1 Ordway Street on Saturday, July 19th from 5 PM till 9 PM, Friday, July 25th from 5 PM to 9 PM, and Friday, August 8th from 5 PM until 9 PM. Any discussion on the motion to approve all three? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You're all set, sir. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Item number 10, a petition for license entertainment class and class F1 full privilege petition of Aloha Restaurant Lounge for license to have a Cape Festival outdoors and to sell food and alcoholic beverages at 354 Pine Street on Saturday, July 26, 2025, from 3 PM until 8:30 PM. License number EVT-25-52. Motion to take this license up.
The move by Council Russo, second by Council Moran, that we take up a petition of Aloha Restaurant Lounge for a license of a Cabo Verde Festival outdoors and to sell food and alcoholic beverages at 354 Pine Street on Saturday, July 26th, from 3 PM until 8:30 PM. It would be license number EVT-25-52. Aloha Restaurant, I know that's you, Mr. Lopez, right? Could you please come forward? No, it's
No.
not.
Good night.
Could you, we know who you are, but could you just for the record, give him your name and address?
Yes, good. Adelino Lopez, 27 Whitman Street in Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Mr. Lopez, this is in Councilor Stacoviac's district,
Yep.
and she's not feeling well tonight. She didn't mention anything to me about this. I know 354 Pine Street has had other outdoor events like this before. That's correct, right, Rick?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. You know what our concern always is, right? Not
Yep.
loud music and intrusion on a neighborhood and all the rest. This is a slightly different area. There's less residential
Yes.
concerns. So given that Councilor Stacoviak didn't express any concerns, I think, I myself am okay with this. But does anybody else have any questions for Mr. Lopez on this particular petition? Counselor?
So, Mr. Lopez, you're expecting 500 people roughly for this event?
Yes.
And do you think that'll be all at the same time? Or do you think there'll be, people coming in and coming out?
Now people come in different times. They come in different times.
So not 500 at one particular time.
No. People's coming like
And the petition is to end at 8:30 p.m., right?
8:30,
And
yes.
that's a hard stop. You know that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions,
No, I'm good.
Counselor?
Mr. Lopes, I'm glad to see you doing it in the proper venue, so thank you. Yes, and the only thing, the concerns, like the president said, and I've stated to you before, is just, you just keep in mind to keep the peace in the neighborhood, obviously you gotta play music and all of that,
Yeah.
but so that you can come back in the future and make these applications again, okay? So that's.
Yeah, sure.
So
I understand.
hope everything goes well with,
Okay.
with the, event.
Okay.
All right.
In that case, would you make a motion to approve?
Well, it's not my district.
I'll make the motion to approve.
All right,
I'll second it.
there you go. Move by,
We got
Council,
Jeff there.
Councilor Wildenhain, second by Councilor Gregor, that approval be given to a petition of Aloha Restaurant for a license of a Cabo Verde Festival outdoors and to sell food and alcoholic beverages at 354 Pine Street on Saturday, July 26th, from 3 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. It'd be license number EVT-25-52. Any discussion on the motion to approve? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck. You're all set.
Before I take item number 11, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to introduce a communication from Captain Giorgio.
Remove, you'd like to amend the agenda, is that what you said?
Yeah, I want to amend the agenda to introduce a communication from Captain
That's not
Giorgio.
item 11 though, right? Okay,
Right,
it's been
right.
moved by Councilor Arujo that we,
Amend the agenda.
seconded by Councilor Codere, that we amend the agenda for the purpose of introducing a letter. Any discussion on amending the agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I would like to make a motion to introduce and file a communication from Captain Dino Giorgio regarding conducted checks at Aloha Restaurant on 904 Main Street.
Been moved by Councilor Arujo, seconded by Councilor Moreno, that we introduce and file a communication from Captain Giorgio of the Pawtucket Police Department regarding Aloha Restaurant. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
All in favor of filing communication?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay.
All right, item number 10 is a petition,
11.
11, sorry. Item number 11 is communication from Dino Giorgio, Pawtucket Police Department to Pawtucket Board of License Commissioners response, update regarding event at Aloha Restaurant on July 5th. Motion is to file and
File a communication take up.
and
Okay,
take up.
that works.
Yep.
Yes. Motion by Councilor Arujo, second by Councilor Gregor, that we file a communication from Captain Giorgio, the Pawtucket Police Department, to the Pawtucket Board of License Commissioners regarding a response, an update regarding an event at Aloha's Restaurant on July 5th. Again, the motion is to file and take up the communication. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Councilor Gregor, do you want to weigh in on this, or is filing it enough?
I just want to say, thank you to Captain Giorgio for doing the patrol. Appreciate it, especially on July 5th and 4th. I know there's a lot of things going on in the city at that time. So that's all.
Thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
item number 12 and 13.
I'm sorry, did we approve all in favor of filing the communication?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Item 12 and 13 are kind of dealing with the same thing. Should I take those at the same time?
Sure.
Okay, all right, if that's okay with the committee, council. All right, item 12, communication from Kira Whitney to Pawtucket Board of License Commissioners, concern inquiry about the status of kennel at 65 Patterson Avenue. I'd like to make a motion to file and take that up. Also, at the same time, item number 13, communication from Lieutenant Joseph Scahan, Pawtucket Police Department, Animal Shelter Liaison, and Catherine Munslow, Animal Control Officer, to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council response report on Harmony Kennel, 65 Patterson Avenue. Also would like to make a motion to file and to take that up.
It's been moved by Counselor Ruja, seconded by Counselor Gregor, that we take up we file two communications. The first from Kira Witsey, to the Pawtucket Board of License Commissioners, regarding her concerns and inquiry about the status of the kennel at 65 Patterson Avenue, as well as a communication from Lieutenant Scahan, Pawtucket Police Department, the Animal Shelter Liaison, and Catherine Munslow, Animal Control Officer, to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council, again regarding a report on Harmony Kennel, I'm sorry, at 65 Patterson Avenue. The motion is to file the communications. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
No, do you want to talk?
We'll take it all, but
Okay. Item number 14, the following petition for renewal was postponed at the meeting held March 19, 2025, and is again taken up. Kennel Renewal, Harmony Dog Training LLC, 65 Patterson Avenue, license number KNL 25-2. Motion is to take it up.
it's been moved by Council Ruja, second by Council Gregor, that the following petition for a renewal was postponed at the meeting held March 19th. And is again taking up. It's a kennel renewal, Harmony Dog Training LLC, 65 Patterson Avenue, license number KNL-25-2. The motion is to take up the matter. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Council Gregor, with your indulgence, Ms. Witsey is here. She had signed up for public input, but considering her input really had to do with this one particular renewal, I told her she could come up at this time. Do you mind handling it that way? Ms. Witsey, if you'd like to come forward, please. And we have your communication and your address. So please tell us what you'd like to tell us.
I just had some concerns because I was recently made aware that it's on the table for expansion. I've spent the last year voicing my concerns about what's going on. I don't know if you realize just how close my home is to the kennel. I didn't get a chance to print out pictures, but I'd have them on my phone. It's literally not even a foot outside of my residence where the dogs are toileted. I spoke at the hearing in September. I was hoping maybe zoning would come back out, and assess this. I just don't understand why this business offering these services is outside someone's home. The noise has calmed down since last year. The smell has not. In the recent heat wave, it was unbearable. Unbearable. I complained for the last year. I can't open my basement windows, my kitchen window. I had to close my second floor windows. I should not have to live like this. I have mentioned this to Animal Control. They've been assessing the situation periodically. They come out, take a report. I've mentioned this for a year, and I don't think this is fair that I have to live like this. I've been there, I'm relatively new to the area. I certainly wouldn't have bought a home next door to a dog kennel, and I just don't understand how this was approved. And I'm really concerned that expansion is on the table. If it's this kind of smell now, what's it gonna be when there's more dogs?
This is a renewal. Is there an expansion proposed?
Well, my understanding is the applicant was looking to the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management to see about increasing but I believe he's here, so he could speak on that, increasing the amount of dogs in the kennel.
But that's not up now, right?
No.
Yeah,
Oh.
so this is really about a renewal. We took it off the mass renewals and scheduled it a number of meetings out so we could be here tonight, right? So that's not before us, as far as I understand. There's
Yeah, if I could so my understanding is the number of animals that can be held over there according to the city ordinance with the kennels is left up to the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management. So in a way, she's correct that, approving this would allow the RIDEM to approve the license. And if he's asking for more dogs, I guess they would have to approve that. It is outside of privy, but that's just the way the ordinance is here.
Okay.
It's for clarification.
okay. So we are entertaining whether or not to renew this kennel license as is at the moment. Is that correct, Rick? Yeah. Okay. I know you had some concerns, your constituents had some concerns. So Ms. Witsey, have you told us everything you'd you came here to tell us?
Yeah, that's about it. I
I un-
hadn't heard any updates. I know there was I thought the meeting was in June, but then I didn't hear anything. So
Yeah.
that's, was my concerns. I had written another letter in June 17th that hopefully you received
Mhm.
about, the smell.
We did.
And, I just, it's
We
been
do
unbearable.
understand your frustrations.
Very frustrating because it's been a year. It's been a year of this, and I think it just hasn't been fair to the residents. I think there was no consideration given to us when this was approved. I don't understand how anyone can come and look at the site, see that it's surrounded by residential homes and think that this is okay. They wouldn't want to live like this. They wouldn't want to not be able to open windows. I mean, it stinks to high heaven. It's crazy. So thank you.
We do understand and empathize. Counselor, did you say the applicant or the license holder is here? Did you say?
Yes, yes.
Okay, would you like him to come up or?
Well, yeah, he's free to come up and.
Thank you, Ms. Witsi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's his name? Is he here?
Louis Rosado.
Mr. Rosado, are you here? Could you come forward, please? It's Louis, correct?
Louis.
Louis Rosado. You just give the clerk your home address, please.
It is 275 Gano Street in Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay, Counselor Gregor.
Mr. Rosado, thanks for coming down. Is there anything that you wanted to say regarding this?
At the moment, no.
So, my concern here is I'm not sure what happened regarding the zoning approving, well, the zoning department approving the use for the kennel. Your business is, I guess, from what I understand from the certificate of zoning compliance here is industrial open. And that's what I'm being told here. And kennels are not allowed in any other zone but industrial open. And there's reasons why that is the case, which I'm sure you can appreciate from the complaints of the residents. Your business borders Mrs. Whitley's property, as well as a couple of others in the back. And as you know, there's been numerous complaints. And I'm reviewing this stuff here. So the whole point of having kennels in a industrial open zone only is to mitigate the effects of just the sort of complaints that you've been hearing from your neighbors, which is noise, the pollution and everything else. And these zonings are not supposed to be arbitrarily done. So that's my understanding. They're supposed to make sure that they separate, heavily and potentially disruptive activities from residential neighborhood, which your kennel or kennels as a general practice, you can't, that's what dogs do. They gotta bark, they gotta make noise, and which is why kennels are supposed to be in an industrial open zone only. So I'm looking at, and my understanding is that you never apply for some sort of permissible use and variance of any kind. So what I'm going to propose is I have questions for the zoning director so they can kind of come here and explain to us how this was approved, how that went about, because just like Miss Whitney and all the other neighbors that border your kennel, I wouldn't want to live next to a kennel with all that noise and the smell and everything else. I don't blame them. That's not what they signed up for. So the issue here is not with the Board of Licensing, it's the zoning department. So when you apply for a license, we don't consider it unless we receive a certificate of zoning compliance. So you
did
will
receive
approve.
it.
So whatever reason why you approved is problematic because it's not clear to us for the very reasons that I just outlined. Because there's no way it doesn't matter because you're running it. It doesn't, if I ran a dog kennel, I would have the same problems. That's what dogs do. That's what a kennel does. So why it was approved is an issue, and they didn't even seem to require you to have any sort of variance or apply for any special permit, do additional scrutiny before you were approved. So so my motion is gonna be to continue this, to give the zoning director a chance to come down at the next meeting. And of course, you'll be noticed so they can explain to how this happened and what can be done about this, because it's not gonna change, especially if my understanding is you're looking to increase the number of dogs. It's just gonna get worse. So you're gonna be plagued forever with the same complaints and ongoing from your neighbors, rightfully so, and I'm not sure what can be done here.
Well, on my behalf, if I can. I've offered solutions. I've done as much as I can to adjust the facility and spend money to accommodate the sounds. I've had animal control officers from other towns and other state utilize and come down and work with me, and honestly have told me how wonderful my place is. I had you recently over and offered you to walk out to my play area and give a smell test. I welcome anybody on the panel to stop in. Don't call me. Don't call me. Stop in. Give it a good sniff. Because I've had professionals from all over the state come to my facility to train with me. I've held workshops with other dog trainers, again, internationally known. And if you need referrals from them, they're welcome to write those. They haven't smelt anything. I apologize. On occasion, you might get a little whiff of urine when a dog just finished urinating on a warm evening. I apologize. It is an industrial area. I did my research before I applied there. The clerk knew me because I've kept coming in with research and kept looking at locations. And the zoning does match exactly what I need and approves me, allows me to do it. So I do believe and understand everybody's concerns. But I work and stay very closely within the guidelines that I am required, whether it's the Rhode Island Department of Environmental, whether it's the state of Pawtucket or the city of Pawtucket. Everything I'm done and continue to do is to help, but I get no solution or any kind of feedback back other than just complaints. None of the neighbors have come by and tried to bridge a gap. Let's be friendly. Let's be kind. How can I help you? I'm not going anywhere. I have a lot of money invested in it. I'm a friendly guy. Just let's come have a conversation. I spray that thing down daily now. I add a turf sand that costs $100. I spray that down. I spray it so that it traps the dog's urine. I go above and beyond to try to accommodate. That's pretty much all I have in my own control. Other than that, I can't offer anything else other than continue to come and try to help in whatever way I can.
Thank you, Counselor Wildenhain.
Mr. Rosario, how many years have you run this establishment here?
This establishment's been running since 2019, and prior to this location, I worked out of the Rhode Island Animal Medical Center, which was established. They've been doing it for about veterinary medicine for over 20 years. The gentleman's father did it.
Is there a way in your area, turn around and to bring certain aspects of your play area, to move it back farther from the residential area? If you're saying it's industrial, is there a way for that to happen?
Other than costing tens and thousands of dollars, I don't see it, because that's the only location that is not only sanded, but also stoned to filter the urine, which is, again, within the research of what I've done and the research of talking to other people that I know that run facilities. That was the best way to do it under a turf. Is it's go sand, cobblestone or a specific stone, and then it's flattened out, and then the astroturf goes on top of it. And then you have a sand that you can apply, which is like a cat litter for the actual astroturf.
Mhm.
It not only helps calm or trap the urine smell, but it also helps because of the other downside of having astroturf is it can affect the dog's paws. And so we have to make sure that we don't burn any dog's paws. And so that element also helps keeps that from getting too hot.
I don't know your building, so I'm just curious whether or not
Yeah.
I welcome you to come take a look
No,
at it.
and I appreciate that, but I'm just curious, sitting here thinking of it, and somebody says that it's right on top of my house,
Mhm.
whether or not if your building's just on top of her house and you don't have an extended area out where you might be able to accommodate. I mean,
Yeah, again, I welcome anybody and I won't discredit her feelings. I get it. I understand. I would be angry too. Her house is literally right on the actual fence. When Mr. McGregor came by, I walked over. I, again, let him know I understand her complaints. Yeah, I get it. On a nice wind gust, you're gonna probably smell it, but it's just one house that's there. And I do the best I can to accommodate it. And it's not, in my opinion, it's not as consistent as it's being established it is, in my opinion. I think that's subjective to who
If
it
that
is.
one house was on Gano Street next to someplace, you would feel a little bit differently. You might feel a little bit more like Miss Witsy does. You know, to say it's that one house, to her, that's her house.
Absolutely.
Counselor, I know you wanted to continue. I just had a quick question. I know we continued it from a couple months ago to tonight
Correct.
because the DEM, the state license was valid through about now. Is my recollection correct?
They just recently approved it and I already submitted that as well. I passed all their state requirements.
So postponing as the counselor intends to motion doesn't really change anything one way or the other until we reconvene. Right? He would still operate because he has a state license. We would just be postponing or continuing a decision on the municipal license. Is that correct, clerk?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure we were on solid footing. So is that your motion, Counselor, to continue this? And is there a request with that motion?
Well, yeah, the request is for Mr. Johnson to come to the next meeting and give the council a full understanding of how this zoning for the kennel was approved when it borders literally residential on the entire side. So it's not just Miss Whitley, is Seamus, I forget his name, who's submitted, him and his wife had a baby and submitted several complaints in the past within the 1 year that the site's been open. I mean,
Could I suggest this?
Yep.
Our next meeting is a noontime meeting. That's not much transaction. Not many transactions are done. If we continued it to the first meeting of August and asked zoning to also weigh, I get the sense that there's a clear line that here over is industrial open and here over is residential, and that the line is the line. And maybe there should be some consideration about a buffer between residential and manufacturing, or residential and maybe we could ask him that question too. Is it literally just a distinct line in the sand, so to speak, that this is residential, this is industrial open, and it's allowed? I mean, it could be as straightforward and black and white as that.
yeah.
But I think if we asked him to look into it from that perspective, I don't know that he is going to be able to tell us what transpired in 2019 when that,
No, this was last year. He's only been operating for a year.
I thought you said 19, 2000.
My business been in operation since
Oh,
2010.
this site.
This
that-
site, is this my second? This is, yeah, I'm working on my annual approval.
I do recall you coming before us, and you know,
Yeah.
there were concerns all along. So, motion to continue till the first meeting of August?
Which would be at noon or regular?
No, regular.
Regular.
That's why the second meeting of July is a noontime meeting. The second meeting of August is a noontime meeting. I mean, we can do it at noontime if you'd like to, but I
don't think that would be. I mean, I don't think the neighbors, I mean, the heat we've been having, if that continues, Miss Whitley, for instance, is going to be severely prejudiced.
Sure. I'll do
So-
whatever you'd like. I know you're trying to do the best you can for your constituents. I'm just trying to move things along, but that's fine with me. If you'd like to do it then and
Yeah,
see if we can get,
I'm not sure how we proceed with this because I don't necessarily blame Mr. Rosado. He applied for a permit, it was approved. The fact that it was approved is concerning to me in light of what's going on here and the fact that a kennel is only allowed in an industrial open. Why they would allow it to be open right on a residential area as well with several homes around. I just don't get that without any sort of scrutiny. Because I mean, I'm looking at the basic laws here. I mean, there was no variance applied for, no special permit. There were no modification to the zoning requirement, no stringent scrutiny from the zoning boards. And I'm just trying to figure out, how do you protect the neighborhood? So whenever his situation here would be considered a non-typical use in light of the fact that he borders this neighborhood.
okay,
So-
makes sense. And I actually, the zoning director would be on duty on that day to be able to attend a noontime meeting anyway. So your preference is to continue this matter until the next meeting, July 23rd at noontime. And in the meantime, ask the
I have, I won't be in town. I'll be at a conference, our annual conference. So, unfortunately, if you'd like me to be here, which I would love to be here,
okay. So
I'm not available.
again, my feeling is that the council will get some of the answers at that noontime meeting. And then he would likely do one of a couple things, either a motion to approve, motion to deny, or a motion to continue again. So you'd be able to come back in. Right?
So
Does that sound about
to
Yes.
accurate?
understand correctly, we're willing to work at their time, but I would love to still also be here as well, so I can also potentially ask questions, since I've been here at every meeting.
Yeah.
And to try to be here, I think it's only fair.
So you're free to
I'm
talk.
free before then,
Yep.
or
So if you want to go down and talk to zoning about this particular issue too,
Yeah.
you kind of know what the parameters are, what the concerns are. And you could speak to him then. Even at the next meeting, if you were here, you would not necessarily be asking questions of him,
correct, but
So-
I could have a conversation like after.
Sure, you're free to have a conversation with him anytime between now and then, and if it's continued to the next meeting in August, but
One other question I want to ask is, I know animal control has come by. I know people have come by to check the facility and do inspections. What are some of the results of those, even animal control? Are they saying they're getting an absolutely horrible odor every time they've come to the facility? What are some of the feedback that you guys have gotten from those inspections? Because they do come very frequently.
I haven't
Is that,
seen
would
those.
be something for Mr.
No,
McGregor?
They were provided. It's
Yep.
it's on the website.
No, for this meeting.
Yeah.
No, I thought
What-
ongoing is what he's
No.
saying.
Do you know what it says?
We have the communication from Lieutenant Joseph
Yeah,
Scahan.
those
So-
are on the clerk-based website on tonight's agenda. There'll be a link to that community. So when it says communication,
Okay.
number 11, I think it was. right?
13.
I didn't get any paper. Nothing was mailed to me.
So if you go onto the website and go to the city council,
Yep.
If he wants to call tomorrow or talk to Michelle, we can
Okay.
Okay.
look up and get what, the communications from
Animal control.
yeah, if you could provide him, if you're able
Thank
to
you.
call tomorrow, if you could provide
Okay.
him with all the communications that have gone on during the course of this
Yeah, Michelle's
run.
helpful. So
In the
I'll-
meantime,
Yes.
we have a motion to continue to the renewal application until the next meeting on July 23rd at noontime, and a request for the zoning director to look into the propriety of that certificate of zoning compliance
Yeah.
relative to
The zoning certificate. the
licensing.
Certificate of zoning.
certificate of zoning compliance, and if he would please attend, if he's able to answer the council's questions. But at least that will give him a heads up on
Well-
what
Will I be
He-
getting approved on that meeting, or what would, how, what?
Per-
what comes
Perhaps,
next?
but like I said, one of three things could happen.
Okay,
I-
It should be on Zoom, right?
Yes.
He could
Oh,
participate.
is that what
in
he's
Zoom.
asking?
No,
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 he can't.
if he's away. if you
no,
want.
I'm away, but I was wondering
Yeah.
if at that meeting, would we be hearing whether I'm gonna be approved or
Right,
not?
so that's, as I said, there's
Okay.
like three options.
Okay,
It's kind of up to the counselor of the district. He would make a motion to approve,
okay,
deny, or continue.
okay.
My gut feeling is we probably would continue it one more time to,
Because I would
get to
like
the
you to
bottom
be
of it.
present, or whatever happens. You have
Right.
a right to be.
so
here.
it'd be unlikely, but I would also suggest that I don't believe you would make a motion to deny outright without him being here, yes?
I would not, no.
Okay, so you can at least feel
Thank you.
a certain level of comfort on
It
that,
does. Thank you.
okay?
Thank you,
All right,
guys.
so that's,
Thank you.
Rick, do you have the motion? And it was seconded by Counselor Wildenhain. Any discussion on that motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Okay, no further business coming before the Board of License Commissioners. I make a motion that we adjourn and reconvene as the Pawtucket City Council.
Moved by Council Ruja, second by Council Cuddy, that we adjourn as Pawtucket Board of License Commissioners and convene as Pawtucket City Council. Before we do, I ask that everybody stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, started by Councilor Grecker.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pawtucket City Council come to order. Clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer,
Here.
Councilor Ruzo,
Here.
Council Codere,
Here.
Council Gregor,
Yeah.
Council Moran,
Here.
Council Moreno, Council Rubio, Council Kubiak, Council Wildenhain.
Here.
7 in attendance.
Mr. President, I call for approval of the previous minutes from June 25th, 2025 at the Finance Committee and the City Council.
Second.
The moved by Council Ruja, second by Council Wildenhain, approve be given to the minutes of the June 25th, 2025 meetings of the Finance Committee and the City Council as prepared by the clerk. Are there any concerns, amendments, deletions, adjustments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
I call for approval of item number 2, the consent agenda and correspondence.
The moved by Council Ruja, second by Council Moreno, that approval be given to item 2, the consent agenda and correspondence. Are there any items the members would like to discuss in item 2? And I'm going to look to my right for a change. Anybody on the right? Of course. Anyone on the left? Councilor Wildenhain.
D.
D.
D as in David.
Yes. Council Gregor, did you raise your hand?
Yes. The B, so it looks like they're all together. B, C, and D. And E, I guess. I mean, they're all, just take them up together, I suppose.
That okay with you, Council Wildenhain? Can we take all three together?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
In that case, all in favor of approval?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, let's take B, C, D, and E together. And since you've got all four of those, Councilor Gregor, why don't you go first?
So I wanted to, so they're all related to, John Colick, Blackstone Distribution Center LLC. 1 Moshastic Street, Q2, 2025 construction update. C is the communication from Carl Johnson, Director of Zoning Code Enforcement, to the honorable members of Pawtucket City Council. Response, building permit status, responding regarding 1 Moshastic Street. D is the communication from Frank Milos, City Solicitor, to the honorable members of the City Council. Response, tax stabilization regarding 1 Moshastic Street. And the E again is from Blackstone Distribution. To the honorable members of Pawtucket City Council, response regarding the August 6th request to attend the pre-council meeting. So I want to thank you to Solicitor Milos for providing us some advice regarding, because I had proposed a resolution to rescind the 20-year tax stabilization that's was extended to Blackstone Distribution. I'm not sure where that stands, if it's been executed or not, and in large part, that was because of the 2 years plus where this organization has completely, I feel, insulted our communities. The Woodlawn community, people most affected. 2.5 years, have expressed the way I feel about it, and we've received zero from them. We had to repeatedly ask them to do anything, despite what they say that they've been on top and communicating with the planning department on a constant basis. The fact that the fence on Mashasik Street over half, going down almost halfway towards Mashasik, was down for over a week, including Christmas vacation, exposing our community to the extremely hazardous place that represents one Mashasik Street. It wasn't done till after Christmas. And from the onset from 2000, when did they purchase the property? When they demolished, and they started the demolition, 2021, they exposed almost an entire city block with uncovered spaces with again, exposing the community, children, people from health and safety throughout the time. It is numerous instances of this sort of thing happening. And my position's been that, and according to the solicitor, we can't rescind, we can't do a resolution to rescind it, but we can do a resolution to recommend for the mayor to rescind it. So, but that's something we were gonna take a look at the next meeting on August 8th. But I just wanted to, in the interim, just say thank you. I mean, I'm glad that they finally got the financing according to the letter to initiate activities over there, but they've initiated it for about a week now. And notwithstanding our own zoning and the states regarding remediation and protecting the public, they initiated activities over there of an excessively hazardous place without any remediation measures in place. There were no perimeter silk stocking around it. The one that was there was completely deteriorated. No water cannons, nothing whatsoever. And they went right ahead. Shows you the abuse and recalcitrant attitude that they keep exposing our community to. We continue to be exposed to airborne contaminants. The Mashasik River is being polluted. I live within a block of the site. My children are being contaminated with the airborne dust particles. And that's been continuous, and I don't believe the 20-year tax stabilization agreement, especially one which is transferable, should be extended to a company that does that. 3 years almost, they've abused our community, and I gotta wonder why that is. Is it because it's made up of a high percentage of people of color and economically disadvantaged people? Is that why they were allowed to do that? Because I wouldn't see that happen anywhere else in the city. No other district, and I've said it before, and yet here they are. So are we supposed to jump up and down because they finally got the financing to initiate something that I consider immoral? The fact that they're coming here from out of state to take away the only green space that these children have in that district, to bury tons of heavily contaminated dirt and debris and all sorts of things into Morley Field, pave it into a parking lot. It is at odds with not only the state, but the city's climate resiliency mitigation. You don't turn a permeable surface into an impermeable one at this time of the year. This time in our climate, the way it is, creates a heat island, and the monstrosity of development that they want to build over there, taking up an entire city block. It's not the sort of planning that I think the city envisions. It's not the sort of development that's going to improve the community. It's not the sort of development that's going to improve property value, quality of life, and resiliency of the area and the city as a whole. But that's my personal opinion, which is echoed, and I want to thank the people who submitted initial comments regarding that. I'm not sure where that's going to go regarding the we'll see what happens on August 8th. But I want to thank Greg Garrett, and I want to thank Adam Greenman, who submitted, actually, if anybody has any questions to what I've been saying, he actually reflects it exactly the reasons why it shouldn't be extended in light of everything else. So if you want to read anything, you can read his letter dated July 7th. I thank him for submitting that letter. And I thank Canon Segalia, sorry, for his extensive account of why this shouldn't be extended. And also Jeannie Silversmith, the executive director of Rhode Island Environmental Education Association. I mean, these are just a small sample, but for the last 3 years since this entire incident was initiated, the entire community has been against this. The only people, again, who are for this monstrosity, environmentally reckless proposal is the administration, who's benefiting, an out-of-state company. So I'm going to assume that the priority to keep the quality of life, the health and safety of the children of Woodlawn and the community isn't worth anything. That priority should be given to an out-of-state, not even a Pawtucket resident or state of Rhode Island resident, but New York, to come here and do what they're proposing to do. And not only that, they've misrepresented their finances to this council for over 2 years in terms of what was going on with the financing. And it's been just brought to my attention, something that I find particularly disturbing. Let's give me 1 second. But this community is not certain who actually owns 1 Moshasik Street right now, because they've mortgaged themselves, and my understanding is that they've assigned their propriety interest into the property to a quasi-state agency. And I'm just that I find that particularly disturbing, how the state is getting involved in this. But the Quonset Development Corporation, apparently on May 20th, 2025, were the beneficiary of a mortgage deed from Blackstone
Council,
Distribution.
I'm gonna stop you. None of that is before us, so we don't have that on our agenda, and we don't have the ability to speak to that, so.
And that's fine. That's why I'm saving this till the August 8th meeting. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more public input regarding this. 3 rallies, I guess, isn't sufficient.
3 what?
3 rallies that's been brought out regarding Morley and what's happening over there isn't sufficient to change minds. And now quasi-state agents are getting involved to something local here. And I'm just trying to figure out why. But again, we're going to address all of that on August 8th. Thank you.
I'm just a little unclear. Rick, what did we do at the last meeting relative to the August 8th meeting? Did we continue any matter? I mean,
Just invited JK to come in for a pre.
okay, all right. I was just a little lost on the discussion of what was expected to happen on the 8th. Okay, Councilor Wilden, introduce.
Yeah. I wanted to thank Councilor Milos for his opinion, which we sought the last meeting. And when I read through it, you know, I guess it accurately depicts what our powers are and what our powers are not. And it made me go back and read over the TSA, because a lot of people have an issue with the TSA. Since I've been here in 15 years, I've always been a proponent of, of projects happening in this city, and also realizing that we do not have the money to fund these projects. So the TSA has been put out there as a way to incentivize people to turn around and investing in our city. And at some point, we get people that don't follow through with their commitment for whatever reason, COVID, supply chain. We've had numerous people apply and put projects in front of us, 25 million, 20 million. And Some of them come to fruition and some of them haven't. But, you know, I say that only from the standpoint that this contractor is, as Councilor Gregor points out, has taken a period of time, but he's not the only one. So I took the time to look up the, another tax stabilization agreement that we had for Dexter Commons. And we had to do the same thing. We had to extend it out because of COVID, because of financing. But now if we go by the place today, we can see the steel in the ground and them starting to hold their commitments. We've had other commitments from Miss Aurora Lee, and some of those are already expired because it's gone past the time frame that she had it. They've been very fruitful to the city. In the Dexter Commons issue, we went from $8,000 in taxes to the point where it's done, the tax treaty is done, we'll be getting $660,000 in tax revenue. The same thing here in Wally Field, and Councilor Gregor, when he pointed out that, and I appreciate him pointing it out, he has a right to his opinion and everything else. When we went through this back in the time, because I was chairman of property at the time, when this was presented to us, the tax treaty, the reasoning for everything, it was bringing 300 jobs to his area. An area that a lot of his constituents don't have vehicles to get back and forth to work. So we saw it as a potential gain of 300 jobs that his constituents would be able to walk back and forth to. That excited us. And it also excited me, but it also disappointed me that it took 2 to 3 years to actually do it. And actually for a developer to leave the area in the state that it was left in. That bothers me also. And being told now that they've got their financing, they're going to start their project. They have until December 31st, 2027 to complete their project. If they do not do so, then they jeopardize their tax treaty with the city. That's where we would have authority to actually take some type of action because they didn't fulfill their commitment to us. They haven't fulfilled a lot of commitments to us, but they are proceeding. They have a date that they have to continue by and complete by in order to do it, just like other developers. So while I hear a lot of people complaining about these tax things, these tax treaties are going to benefit the taxpayers in the city of Pawtucket, where the administrations, future administrations, hopefully won't be able to reach in their pocket and raise taxes to the point of 6.36%, because we took tax bases of 32,000 and brought it up to 612,000 with their investment, their money, not our money, their money. So there are conditions that they have to meet. There are conditions that we have to tolerate sometimes. But I am, like I said, I see these things as advantageous to the future to keep our residents in their homes. So that's the only statement I wanted to make.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor, item 4,
If I
Counselor?
could just quickly respond real quick. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate your comments. However, I just want to make something clear. When that proposal was initiated, it was 150 job stops that was expected, and that's when we were under the impression that Amazon was coming. So clearly that didn't happen. So how we jumped from 150 to 400, 500 jobs that they're suggesting with zero evidence that would suggest that is beyond me. But so 2 is, yes, I think tax stabilization agreements are a great way to motivate development and get people to come here. But they should be for responsible developers who are going to come here and do something. It's not, and I'm not so bothered with time, but when someone initiates doing what they did here, even a year prior, and then demolishing the place, heavily contaminated, leaving it like that with zero protection for the public for 2 years, they should not be rewarded. It sets a terrible example that people can just, developers of the same type of sorts can come here and fleece the population and the taxpayers. That's a terrible precedent to set up. Yeah, you're talking about the Dexter Street. Yeah, it took time, whatever reason, but it didn't do anything in the interim to affect the public health, the public safety, or anything like that. And those are the sort of developments that I absolutely support, which I did, but not in this case. We don't even know who owns the place right now.
Counselor Wildenhain.
Counselor, I appreciate your comments and I appreciate your passion, but the place that we're sitting in here today was another example of people bringing in jobs and promising 150, and it turned out to be 300. So, you know, you can make all the comments you want, and I appreciate it, but I also know that there's other developments that have worked, and I'm just saying, I don't want to see those get turned away because we have an issue with one. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Moreno.
Item 3 is a resolution celebrating Colombian Independence Day in the city of Pawtucket. I move for approval on a roll call. Oh,
Been moved by Councilor Moreno, second by Councilor Codier, that a resolution celebrating Colombian Independence Day in the city of Pawtucket be approved on a roll call vote. Is there any discussion?
just have one
Counselor?
brief comment. I just wanted it to express appreciation on behalf of Councilor Rubio and I, to everyone who had a hand in drafting the as a and as always, we are we are proud to be in a in a city that and and Grace sure, and just so I thank you.
Thank you. I was going to say the same thing about Councilor Rubio. She couldn't be here tonight. But you and she were the spearheads to this. So any further discussion on the resolution? Clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Council Ruzo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor.
Yes.
Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno. Council Wildenhain.
Yes.
7-0.
Number 4 is an ordinance and amendment of chapter 108, 112, 193, 251, 260, and 302 of the Code of Ordinances, of the city of Pawtucket, 1996, regarding various licensing fees. Call for approval for second passage on a roll call vote.
Second.
The move by Councilor Wildenhain, second by Councilor Moran, that an ordinance and amendment of chapters 108, 112, 193, 251, 260, and 302 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pawtucket, 1996, regarding various license fees. The motion is for approval on a second passage on a roll call vote. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Council Ruzo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor.
Yes.
Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno. Council Wildenhain.
Yes.
7-0.
Number 5 is an ordinance and amendment of chapter 202 of the Code of Ordinances of the city of Pawtucket, 1996, entitled Fees, Various Fees Changed by the zoning and, charged by the zoning and code enforcement and planning department. I call for approval on a roll call vote for second passage.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Wildenhain, second by Councilor Moran, that an ordinance and amendment of the chapter 202 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pawtucket, 1996, entitled Fees, for various fees charged by the zoning and code enforcement and planning departments. This is motions for second passage on a roll call vote. Is there any discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Council Ruzo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor.
Yes.
Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno. Council Wildenhain.
Yes.
7-0.
Item number 6, the Committee of Claims and Pending Suits returns the following claims for damages against the city. The following 3 were approved at a $300 max. Ronald Bacala Jr. for a pothole, Lorena Rivera for a pothole, and Luis Rosario for a pothole. Again, that is for $300 for each one.
It's been moved by Councilor Ruzo, second by Councilor Moreno, that 3 claims, all involving potholes, be approved at the state max of $300. They are for Ronald Bacala Jr., Lorena Rivera, and Luis Rosario. Again, all $300 max. The motion, the suggestion from the Claims Committee is motion to approve. Clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Council Ruzo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor.
Yes.
Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno. Council Wildenhain. 7-0.
And in the claim of Gail Robinson for $265.52 for a tire, my motion is to deny and refer to Demio Construction.
Moved by Councilor Ruja, second by Councilor Moreno, that a claim of Gail Robinson for the amount of $265.52 for a tire damage be denied and referred to Demio Construction. Is there any discussion on that? All in I'm sorry, clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Yes to deny and refer.
Council Ruzo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor. Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno. Council Wildenhain. 7-0.
No further business coming before the Pawtucket City Council. I make a motion that we adjourn.
Moved by Councilor Ruja, second by Councilor Gregor, that we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?